You know security is hard, so let's assume we're probably gonna get pwned by noon. But if we all start to get the basics right, we might not fully get pwned until tonight. Oh, hi, Paul.
What's going on, Brian?
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
It's kind of weird, seeing you here. That we just happen to be on
Surprise.
the same time. Yeah. Well, welcome to not you. I already welcomed you, but welcome our friends who are joining us for another swing at hacking Billy Madison. Paul, important question for you, actually, before we get started. Did you do your homework, which was to watch Billy Madison? Because I think you said you hadn't seen it.
Absolutely not.
Well,
no.
then.
I don't know. I did not.
You got better things to do with your time, like play with your sweet new
hour and a half. I don't know how long that movie is, but yeah. The Oculus, I haven't even got a chance to mess around with that. I got it maybe 30 minutes. I used it, but then I let the kids play with it. So yeah.
Oh, I know how that is. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
My teenager. Well, I have got two now, but my oldest is heavily sending me pictures of the new Oculus, and hey, did you hear it does this and that and the other, simply so that I get that one and he gets my old two.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Fine, right? Like that's still like a pretty sweet system. But it's just like when he calls me from his lunch break during the day, like he's got an hour off, kind of an open hour at school.
Oh yeah.
So he'll call and be like, "Hey, do you and Mom want me to like bring you anything for lunch?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, sure. Pick us up, this and that." And I lead him on, right? He's like, "Great. Can you like transfer money into my account so I can get it?" It's like, oh, you were thinking about us. You were thinking about yourself. You wanted paid lunch on Mom and Dad, dressed up like selflessness.
That's right.
Got it.
Well, I'm sure that's a skill for something growing up. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, good salesman or something, right?
Salesman. It could work for you. There you go.
Let's make it about you, even though it's actually about moi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The win-win. Hey, it's a win-win for both of us.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I'm unless you want to try, Paul, I'm not going to attempt to try to do like a Cliff's Notes version of where we've been with this VM, because it's been a lot. The point of this vulnerable VM that we've been playing with for now, this will be the third session.
Third week, yeah.
Third week, yep. Is that and it parallels the movie, but obviously, some of us don't care enough to see it. But there's a bad guy here, Eric Gordon, who wants to take over the Madison Hotels, and Billy here, he wants to take the hotels over from his dad. But evil Eric Gordon has done some sort of hacking on Billy's computer and encrypted his final paper that he needs to graduate from school, because that's the whole premise of the movie. Is like, Billy basically, when he was growing up, his dad paid his teachers to give him good grades. And so he graduated under false pretenses. So now, to officially show he's a big boy and take over the hotels from his dad, he's got to go back to school, repeat K through 12 legitimately.
In a crunch time, like 2 months or something like that, right?
Very accelerated amount of time. So that's where we are in this story. We've been trying to pick apart this vulnerable VM and figure out, like, can we essentially get Billy's ransomed homework back so that he can finish graduation. So
real quick though, can you just refresh everybody what this not Vuln Hub, but this VM is about, and where we got it, and what you created, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so this was one that I made just for fun, and I loved the exercise of it. It was awesome. But I submitted it to this vulnhub.com, which does look like periodically, well, last one was mid 2022. I think in this day and age of everything being in the cloud and in the browser, and you've got the hack the boxes and try hack me of the world, I don't know that VulnHub is all the rage anymore. Maybe it is. But this used to be the place, at least for me, when I was coming up through security. This is the place I would go to practice different hacking tools and stuff. The only thing, and you and I talked about this in some of the past sessions, but the only thing I would just caution, I always caution people about, is that, these are, well, in the case of Billy Madison, it's meant to be a fun kind of puzzles wrapped in riddles, wrapped in brute force exercises and cryptography challenges. Like if you jump on a regular Microsoft based internal network pen test, probably not going to find boxes that look like these.
Right.
So I always feel like you just got to be careful because it's the real world. It's not like every single endpoint is just this onion wanting to be unpeeled and like, oh,
Yeah.
the root shell at the center. I mean, I suppose if you're a genius, you could treat every system like that. Um, but yeah, so we downloaded it and then just fired it up as a VM on this same network that I'm on. And in like the very first session, in fact, I'm going to just look at the notes we took. Um, basically, I just did a port scan of all open ports, and this is kind of what we've been working with. So you and I have been poking and prodding at each port a little bit to just like figure out what's
And even though you built this 6 years ago, we still can't remember, and
I
it's still kind of a challenge. So yeah.
yeah, it's been a challenge. Yeah, I got teased about it a little bit. It's like, don't you know how this movie ends? Like, don't you know what to do next? No, I don't. And whatever. That's a testament to me being a middle-aged person, but it's also kind of fun because then you and I we've hit a couple milestones though where it's like, oh, I know what that's a reference to, or I know I'll have like little glints of memory as far as what the hint is to do the next thing. Um, but
Oh,
yeah,
I was gonna say Rot 13 was a really good one too. I thought that was good. I totally forgot about that. And then yeah, so that was really good.
yeah, so we did that rot 13 decoding. We've done some pulling down of packet captures. I think we did that last time. And we picked apart email correspondence that went back and forth between Eric and Veronica. And then kind of where we left off was we pulled down this notes document. This, I think, came from Eric's like FTP account. Remember we finally got in there
Yeah.
and
And then
passed
it was a challenge to open it, right? To cat it.
right, like we couldn't download stuff and it was saying something like passive mode not working right, and then we had to type the word passive and hit enter. That was the key to like get FTP into
Yeah.
passive mode. Then we were able to download everything, and I think where we left off last time was we read through this note where Eric said that let's see, I managed to hide Billy's paper where he'll never find it. However, now I can't find it either. To make matters worse, my Privesc exploits aren't working. Oh yeah, that was. I think I got those saved. That was these weird files that were also in Eric's
Yeah.
directory, and like if we looked at one of them, it was indicative of like different exploits you would get off of exploit DB and places like that. Um, so there wasn't anything specific yet to do with these, but anyway, we just did a what was it, mget, m like Mary. Mget was uh a command to essentially say, okay, from this folder on the FTP server, just download everything. So that included whoops, that included that
Do
notes.
you remember? Because that's a new one for me. I've never seen mget or used it before. I mean, wget, I use that a lot, but mget, what is? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
tangent.
mget, I'm pretty sure is just multiple get. So you could say
Oh, okay.
mget space star, and then like, if I was in an FTP server right now and these were all the
Yeah.
files, I could go like mget star enter, and then I think it asks you, do you want to download them one by one, or we found out you could press A for all, and then it would just go boom, 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 and just
That's
download
right.
everything here. Um, so yeah, so we were at that point. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, the exploits aren't working. One sort of work, but think it. I think I have it installed all backwards. That is familiar to me. That's a hint of something. Something is backwards about the exploits. So we gotta keep that in mind. Whatever that is. If I'm going to maintain control of Billy's miserable life, I need to root the box and find that paper. So to get into my SSH backdoor, all I need to do is send an email that includes the text, "My kid will be a blank blank," and that I don't
Um,
I don't know if we played that video or not, but that's that's
You did a little bit, yeah.
and it's funny. It's I don't know, for some reason it's funnier to me that you haven't seen the movie and probably don't think this is funny, but yeah, there's a scene where Billy's in the room with his dad and Eric, and they're arguing about stuff, and the dad decides like Billy's acting immature. He's gonna give the company to Eric, so he's like, Billy, I have big news. And then Billy turns to Eric and goes, "Oh, Eric is pregnant." And he starts rubbing his belly and he goes, "Oh, you feel those kicks? He's going to be a soccer player." And that's the
Oh,
hint
that's what
right
it is.
here.
Got it.
My kid will be a, yeah, soccer. In fact, I think all
Got it.
these underscores. So that's what we need to do, um, is send an email through the system that includes this text. And then the new secret port will be open, and then I can log in there with my Wi-Fi password. I don't think we know that. I'm looking at the notes that I took. I don't think we know what a Wi-Fi password is.
I don't think so.
But he says he's pretty sure Billy or Veronica know what it is. I didn't see it in Billy's FTP folders, but I didn't have the time to check Veronica's. So so I'm thinking probably after we get this email message through, uh, and processed successfully, that will turn on this SSH backdoor port. And then
We can go check out
we
Veronica's.
got to go check out the FTP side of Veronica. That might have the hint. I think the FTP cred from Veronica will tell us what the SSH cred is for Eric. I think that's right. That
All right.
sounds right. All right. Oh, and also I had on my notes from last time what we figured out when we look at the open ports on that guy. We found out purely by just trying Telnet. We did like this, 2525, I think. That's how we figured out that this port, traditionally the SMTP port is 25, but this was a funky named port. So I know at the end of week 2, we just did like, well, let's just Telnet into it and see what it is. And it does seem to be some sort of email server.
On your pen tests, in real life,
Yeah.
does that ever happen? I mean, do you ever see that?
Yeah. So that's a great question. If they have like on-premise Exchange, I will do this kind of test on their Exchange server, and I will try to send a message to like my email address from, you know, the CEO's name at company.com. And I'll basically craft that email right from here with commands. And if that sometimes what those internal servers are configured to do is just treat all internal email as trusted. So they'll actually allow that um, basically spoofed email to go out.
Yeah.
So I'll get at my 7MS email, I'll get, test message from, Paul at domain.com, which is a cool thing to test for, because if social engineering is in scope, I can essentially like fish people from inside the internal network.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, can you click this link? Can you, and do like some of those credential or SMB capture games by like tricking people into talking into my attacking box. So yeah, we do.
Have you got credentials off of, like, say, printers and copiers? You know how a lot of those, send
Yeah.
email as, right? So it's internal and it's going to be trusted. Have you done anything like that before?
Yeah. The what I'll typically do for those when I'll use something like Witness Me to scan all the subnets in scope, and that software will go through and take pictures of all the web interfaces. And then if I do see like a Konica MFP, I'll go over to that web portal, try to get into the admin area, and often there's either no cred on it or there's a default cred.
Default.
And then you'll see in the config, it'll be like, hey, here's scan to email or scan to print or scan to file share. And it'll say, this AD account, print service is, and there's the username, the password's all grayed out, but it's saved in there. and then it'll say, we're going to save these files out to /server1 / scans or something like that. So, and then there's usually a button in there that you say test to see if it actually worked. So then what you can do in that interface is change /server01 to be /my IP, right? Save that, and then hit the test button. And then if I'm running something like Responder, boom, I capture the username and
Awesome.
hash. Yeah. And even better, if the organization doesn't use SMB signing, then I can just do a relay. So I don't even really need to know what the plain text password of that account is. I just I like to think of like I set up my catcher's mitt sort of, or my rubber band, my rubber catcher's mitt, and in comes that connection. I just bounce it off to some other box to pop a command shell or dump hash or whatever. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
One last question on changing the ports 2525 instead of 25. And so can you also, well, this is kind of a leading question, but can you just scan for protocol instead of the port, right? So can you scan for protocol, right? So if they move, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Yeah. In fact, I think I just want to see it. I'll do a lot of times like this. Let me do 2525 and do a
because I think this is good for people to know. So if they're looking for an SSH port or people still use FTP, but so that might be an easier way instead of scanning all the ports for an SSH, just scan for protocol.
Yeah, I think you certainly could. I mean, from what I've seen in real world pen testing, that they internally usually they leave the SSH port as what it is, but sometimes externally I'll see them use like 2222. Be like, yeah, see, nobody will find it that way, and it's like, well, you got these scanners that are going to scan all your ports, and they're going to easily see this is running SSH, and they're going to start, Okay. Oh, so this did do when I did this SV, which I think is service version of that port. It did tell us, SMTP. So, so yeah, you could do like a broader scan and then just grep or search out like show me all the services that matched SSH and start hitting those. But like I said, internally, I haven't seen. And this goes back to what we were talking about, right? Like for funsies.
Yeah.
That we're using port 2525. I've never seen in the real world an Exchange server use anything but 25.
Yeah,
because
you have to change that everywhere, right?
I
The rest
was
of your
just trying to think
systems be tough.
That would probably be. I feel like that would just cause issues at some point. Yeah. So I know we can do. I know we can do a manual. Let me just clean this up a little bit. I know we can do a manual like telnet based like send that email through to Eric. But I also know that what I usually do for like our on-prem boxes, I'll have like a startup script that uses something called Swaks, SWAKS. Have you ever used that?
No, never heard of it.
That's like a command line email. So you can just have like one long string with Swaks that points at an email server, feeds it credentials if it needs it, and then you specify the body, the subject of the message, the body, and attachments if you want. So like on our on-prem boxes, I'll have it so that when like the SSH, when our Kali instance starts up, it'll use Swaks and like a Google Apps account I have to email me just to say like I'm alive and this is my IP. Just to kind of, and I use that uptime robot too. That's pretty nice. But I like to just have two, I don't know, just like a failover communication. So I know from because I wrote it, I've got this very old, but this old B Patty documentation site that I
remember that.
I started years ago. I still go back to it, but it hasn't. Admittedly, it hasn't been updated in a long time.
Yeah.
But I know when I learned about Swaks, I know I put maybe under Linux scripts. Let's see. Oh, disk space alert. I think this has got. Oh, right there. Yes, it uses Swaks. So let me see. Can I just open this in something?
That's great.
Text editor. Let's see. Show it in the folder.
You're just for Gmail, you're just using the application password, right? Is that what you generated?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Got a
Okay.
dedicated account
Yeah.
just to set up exactly with an application password. Okay, text editor. Um, so hopefully this will have kind of a sample of what we're looking for. And I don't know if that's going to show up dinky dinky. So I'll try to blow it up a little bit. So this script really just does a continual disk space check. And if it starts getting low, then you can have it email you to let you know, hey, your disk space is low. So here's what I'm talking about. You can make the SWACs be all one line. You specify the server. If you need an authentication user and password, you punch that in. So that would be your Gmail account and then your app specific password. And then there's your subject and there's your body. And then you can also put attachments on there too. So
Nice.
I'm gonna just model.
Yeah.
I want to model that, and I think let's see, Swax. I think just comes. Oh yeah, okay. So you could do. I guess you could do it. Looks like you could do it interactively, like line by line.
So Swax is installed by default
Um,
on Kali?
yeah, I think so. Although
Wow.
this Kali image is built with like our build script, which pulls down a bunch of stuff. So it could be that,
Oh, okay.
but you would just do like a
Sudo up, get install Swax.
sudo up. But yeah, you do apt-get install Swax. Password.
Cool.
Okay, newest version's already installed. Super duper. So let me try. Let's do Swax, and this is going to be two. So when we looked at those packet captures between the email conversations between Eric and Veronica last time, from that we've gleaned that Eric's address is Eric at Madison Hotels.com.
And also you got Swax spelled.
Oh, I got Sweeks. Yeah, that's like
Sweets.
sweet. It's the upgrade. It's sweet Swax.
Oh, I get it. It's like
Yeah.
Swax Plus.
So, yeah, yeah,
Got
it's
it.
$9.99 a month.
Yep.
Yeah, you can support it on Patreon. And the from I don't think they're going to care about in this case. We're going to do Veronica. I think her um, polyfector. That's a reference to the movie. And then header, the subject, and then it's my kid will be a soccer player. Here. I don't know if it needs to be in the subject or the body, so I'll do both. My kid will be a soccer player. Okay. Let me just see. We don't need anything for authentication, I don't think. Let me just see. Yeah, the server. Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. And there we go. Server is in this case 10.
IP address.
Yep. Whoop, not 90. 7.4. And then port 2525. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. Oh, it'll be a soccer player. That looks fairly. Yeah. That seemed to go. Let me check that notes. Whoops. Higher. Whoop. Not that. Let me try it again. There we go. Just so I'm not cutting off the thing. My kid will be a soccer player, right? That was in our soccer player. All right. So I guess if that was successful, then we should see a new port open. So 21, 22, 23, 69, 80, 139, 445, 2525 is open now. And like, see if it's like in a reasonable range. If there's a new port now, that's open. If it's some crazy, if we don't see anything new,
If it's higher than that,
yeah, then I'll throw that whole 65,000 and change at it, and then we can take our
commercial.
take our commercial break with our friends at Blue Mira. But let's just see if it's like a okay. So I don't see. Oh,
what about the 445? Is that a new one?
445 was on there last.
Oh no, okay.
Let me do. Okay, hold on a second. Let me do this. I probably picked some like 65,000 or something, but how about just like, I don't know, 1,000 more ports just to see if anything is in range. Otherwise we'll throw to commercial. But hopefully just made it slightly. I would think I would want to have it slightly outside of like the default popular, ports and ranges. But kind of looking like dead space. I will prepare.
Hit the space bar. See how far it is.
Oh yeah, I didn't. You know what? I
Yeah.
didn't turn on any of verbose. Oh, that's good call. I'm kind of surprised. Just seems like for these things are both on the same network. It seems kind of pokey, for a LAN scan.
Yeah.
For just 1,000 or so ports.
Yeah.
But almost in there. And I disabled ping because I remember on this box it did not.
Yeah, that's good.
Didn't respond to it. We'll see what.
So after you set this out, I'm sure you watched the threads wherever they might post the results and stuff. Were a lot of people solving this? Did you see a lot of write-ups on it?
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, there was if you go here for Billy, yeah, they would even track, I think at the very bottom. Yeah, quite a few. Look at that.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah. So yes, I do. I have looked at some of them, and it's really fun. Some are pretty transparent with their comments of like, oh, I didn't like that was so frustrating to me, or I had to tweak this to get it to work. And then other people, the way it's written, like they just breeze through it, which I don't guess that is the case.
Yeah, no way.
The write-up just stays to the facts, right? But you got to think,
Yeah.
oh, hey, look, we got the derp service. But I think that's okay, 1970.
What is derps? Can you make up services? What is that?
You can, so you can make, a service really listen on any port you want. I think Nmap maintains a table of like the kind of the national port
Oh yeah.
HTTP, right?
Mhm.
I think it's doing a lookup here and saying, well, I don't know. I've never actually seen port 1975.
1974, and I wonder if that means something.
See, there's the speed guide net site that always pops up. Okay, it says it's registered for the service DRP, and it also lets you know if there's vulnerabilities associated with it. But I think in that notes thing, that is what I think it's SSH because Eric called it an SSH backdoor. He says it's working.
Yeah.
And the secret port will be open once we send the email through. So I'm going to try Eric at 7.124. And I think, or maybe it's this. Oh, yep. I think that's it. Okay, except that we don't know it. But at the bottom of his note, he said what?
That block of numbers? What that block of numbers? What was that for?
Which one? Oh, the knocking?
Oh, did we already pass that? Yeah, there was a block of numbers. Okay.
Yeah, the FTP. Oh, good call. You know what? I might have rebooted since then. Let me see. We might, a good call. We might actually need to do that because I rebooted the box and we had to do the knocking to get FTP to open. So good call. Let me pull up my notes quick on that.
You're taking notes.
Yeah, I think upon reboot. Oh, it is. Oh, it is open. Okay. Okay. So if I do on at 4. All right. Okay. So that's still open. Maybe I didn't reboot it from last time. Whoops. Out here. But we don't have Veronica's password. Um, so I think we need to do a bit of trying to brute force Veronica's FTP password. Um, Now I remember, let's see, do I still have it? Maybe I deleted it. I remember for something else. Oh, remember when we were off of the website, there was a hint that said there's a .cap or a packet capture file
Mhm.
for us waiting, but it had the name Veronica in it.
Yeah.
And we took that I think I might have deleted. So I'm gonna redo that real quick. Um, let's get this open. Whoops. Um,
I'm just laughing at all those, the 10 people that went through this lab. Good for them. That's great, you know?
yeah, God bless them for hanging in there, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
geez.
holy cow. Um,
Gosh. They learned how you think now, you know?
I know. I don't know that anybody likes it, and then
Yeah.
I include myself in there. We had done a like, we made a word list that had we grepped out or we searched out any matches to the word Veronica. Um, we pulled that out of RockU. Okay, so you would see something like this. We saved that to like v.txt. So and that's how we did like a W fuzz. We did a HTTP
Got
based
it.
fuzzing, and we finally found like, oh, cool. Here's this capture file. That's the one that had all the email communications between Eric and Veronica. So, so I think with this smaller list, what I want to do is try. I want to try Veronica's username as FTP user, and then passwords being. I'll just shoot off this whole v.txt,
Yep.
which has a bunch. So this will probably be a perfect commercial. Yeah, 894. That's gonna take a while. And I think let me just look at my old notes. I know you can use Hydra. Maybe did you do some Hydra stuff?
We
Oh,
did Hydra, yeah. Yep.
well, we could just try it then. I mean, that's it.
Hydra's yeah, Hydra's pretty fast. I like it.
Okay, let's try that, and then we'll shoot.
Not that I have a bunch of tools, but like Hydra versus WP, what was that one we used to crack WordPress or to, evaluate
WPN
WordPress?
or yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. That's right. So we're gonna try user as the user, and for password, we're gonna hit this whole
Oh, and then use that TAC NSR.
NSR.
Yeah, NSR, because I was thinking it was null, same, and reverse, but then I looked up the documentation again and it was something different. But use TAC NSR, yeah, because that helps out.
Is that going to take all the words and like reverse them and do all this stuff?
Exactly. It's at the same time it does it because that's when I found out it was faster than WP Scan because WP Scan was just going down this huge list, and the password was like
Oh.
NIMDA instead of admin, and it wouldn't find it. But Hydra just hit it right away. So yeah,
Okay. Well, let me just because I don't know what
sure,
the speed is going to be like. I'm going to go
yeah,
straight through it, and so I'll do that. Throw to commercial. Hopefully, this will be done. Actually,
yeah.
let me start it. See if it is going to start. Um. Okay. Oh, 56 tries per jeepers. Okay. Let's do this. Let's roll to commercial. When we come
Sounds
out,
good.
we'll be done. And then we can see if we got to do. That's interesting. The reversal stuff. That's pretty cool. But let's see. Hold on for one moment, and we will be right back if I can find the Blumira button. There it is. Okay.
Right.
Today's episode of the 7-Minute Security Podcast is brought to us by our friends over at Blumira. And boy, do we love Blumira. It wasn't too long ago we started a podcast series called Desperately Seeking a Super SIM for SMBs. Because everybody needs to be watching their network and Active Directory and knowing and getting alerting when things go bump in the night. And from that series, someone from Blumira reached out and said, well, we're an awesome SIM and we love SMBs. Have you ever heard of us? You want to give us a try? Want to give us a spin? And I said, yes, I want to literally give you a spin in my Light Pentest Light training environment, where all we do, me and the students, all we do every day, all day is beat the heck out of a network and punch Active Directory in the face over and over again. And Blumira was like, yeah, fine, spin up a trial. Let's see how it goes. And oh my gosh, we got all sorts of helpful alerts on things that we actually cared about happening in the environment. Not too many. We weren't getting alert fatigue. We were getting just the right amount of alerts. And maybe the best thing out of that experience was that I got so excited about the alerts. I went to Blumira and I said, oh, it would be cool if you could alert on a couple of other things like AS rep roasting, and maybe if someone flipped the W digest flag on an endpoint so that attackers were able to scrape creds in clear text out of memory. I mean, that's something that shouldn't be happening on the average business day. So wouldn't it be sweet if you could detect that? And not too long after that conversation, they had built detections for both those things. And that's the kind of relationship you want with your SIM service provider. You want to be able to go to them with ideas. You want to be able to take results from a pen test and say, hey, our pen testers did these 12 things. You alerted on 4 of them. Why is that? And if they kind of dismiss you or chuckle or say, oh, let us secure explain to you while you're a moron. If they do any of that, you probably want to tuck tail and run. And I would invite you instead to go talk to my friends over at Blumira, who are very SMB friendly. I really like the whole crew over there. You've heard some of their featured interviews on the podcast.
And I really can't recommend them enough. So go check out their SIM plus XDR solution today. Visit blumira.com/7ms to get started. And we're back.
All right.
And look at this. Ooh, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Done. Oh, nice.
Hey, can you hear this at all?
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Twilight Zone music for you? I don't know why that wasn't really appropriate. It should be more like Oh,
there you go. I thought you're gonna cut to the Chainsaw Massacre and go into that whole thing again. So
no, that's
it's your show, but I'm just like, no, man, don't do it.
No, that's next episode. Okay. So all right, there we go. So Veronica, let's get in there. Baby girl _ Veronica 07 at yahoo.com. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Let's do this thing here. This is what we ran into last time. Passive mode mismatch. So I think we just learned we type passive. And then let's try ls. And ooh, goody. So I'm going to do that mget star again.
Yeah.
So that is where it's like, I think this means like all, no, quit, yes. I don't know what P would be, but if I go A for all, then I think, see how it just iterates through.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got an email file and some sort of packet capture of sorts. And yeah.
Waiting for this. Also, I did check out in between the break, I checked out the NSR, TAC NSR on Hydra, and it was null, same in reverse. So just to keep that going.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah.
Because I've been saying that like every time we use that, I mentioned that, and I wanted to verify that things didn't change or that I was wrong.
Yeah. Can you put that in the chat just to capture it for
No, I looked it up on my phone.
Oh, okay. All right. If it's not
Yeah. No, but I just did like a Hydra -NF NSR and then it popped up. So
okay. All right.
Zoke should be popping in there, and where is he?
Oh yeah, he always wants to make it.
Yeah.
Time is it's probably like over his lunchtime, probably over your lunchtime too. But we appreciate you doing this, Paul.
Well, I enjoy the pizza you sent me. So.
Okay.
Which is always late. I never get it, but
yeah, it still hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I exited out of there. So there was an email file. Let's look at or let's do a more email from Billy. And Billy says, hey, VV, it's your boy Billy here. Sorry to leave in the middle of the night, but I wanted to crack Eric's wireless and then mess with him. I wasn't completely successful yet, but at least I got a start. I didn't walk away from doing my signature move, though. I left a flaming bag of dog poop on his doorstep. And that's another, well, again, I mean, Paul, tell me this. If you and me were to go in some neighborhood, right? And take bag of dog poo, light it on fire on somebody's doorstep, and then when they came out, they stomped on it with their boots. I mean, isn't that comedy gold, or would you be like, Brian, grow up? I mean, tell me honestly, I can take it.
Right. Don't put. I would think it's funny because of you. Jeez. You're talking at our age?
Yeah. Well, I think in the
All
movie, these
right.
guys, they're like in their
I
probably.
would laugh because you think it's funny,
Okay. Right.
Yeah, there we
Well,
go.
anyway, that's the kind of comedy gold you would see in the movies.
Yes,
And that's what
got
Billy
it.
does with his friends. Okay, so that's it. Wait, 99%. That's it. So that then tells me that this guy is likely a cap of a handshake like you would get from a wireless pen test tool where you can
Okay.
do things like try to disassociate clients on an access point, and then when they reassociate, they do like a four-way handshake,
Got it.
which you can then passively capture and then bring off to like your cracking box. So let me see. Let me go back really quick just because I believe in bpatty. Maybe I don't have command syntax. Oh, this is kind of old school step by step how you could capture a handshake, but really this
And to kick them off, what did you use for that? Because what did you use? Go ahead.
yeah, this Wi-Fi. In fact, here we go. I guess it's Wi-Fi 2 is the latest one. This this will like send a what Wi-Fi will actually kind of automate this for you. You can run Wi-Fi from your Cali box with a wireless card on it, and it'll say, "Hey, Paul, here's all the SSIDs I see in the airspace," and you could literally go, let's do the one called Paul Home or whatever. It will enumerate that access point and send a deauth or a disassociation command, and it's just really really brief. It sort of tells clients like to quickly disassociate and reassociate to the access point. So from my testing here at home, it's not like you would notice that you were kicked off. It's not like you're offline for 5 seconds. It's just like a little internet hiccup, but then Wi-Fi can see that or sniff that reassociation and that four-way handshake, and then grab essentially a capture that you can run through Hashcat or some other tool to actually brute force what the pre-shared key is. So that's what I think we've got our hands on.
Got it. Now, when you do that, does it list all the clients to it, or you only see the SSID?
You can do that too. Yeah, you could actually
Okay.
list the clients. In fact, I think
Target.
Wi-Fi, when you run it, I don't have a wireless card on this one, so I can't do it, but it'll show you, Paul Home, neighbor 43, whatever.
Yeah.
It will, I think, even in its tool output, it'll say like there's 5 clients attached or there's 2 attached. And that's really helpful on real life pen tests where maybe they have 50 access points spread all over the place. You can run Wi-Fi, see which ones have the most clients and like the best signal strength.
Yeah.
And then that's usually where I do my, hey, disassociate real quick. Cause if they're very physically far away from my Cali box, the disassociation is often like, it seems like it just doesn't get processed. It's almost like those access points are too far away.
Got it.
So I think there's a bunch of tools that could do this. I let me look at my notes. I don't think you can like directly run the cap file through Hashcat. I think you have to like rip out the handshake data, but I know aircrack ng, which is what my steps here I think talk to. It's more I guess Airmon, some of these Air Suite ones. Let me just see if I do this plus like the file name. Does that do? Okay. So, all right. Well, that's helpful. So at least this tells you, I just ran aircrack ng plus the file. This does tell me there is a handshake here for an SSID called Eric Gordon. But we can't just hashcat that. We have to do something with it. and I did a write-up of that on. Let me check one thing. I don't know if we've talked about.
I don't know where you're going, so I'm just following.
You just follow the tangents.
I don't know this at all.
Don't try to resist it. Just get on the landslide and just see where it takes you.
Right.
Better Cap. Have we talked about Better Cap?
Better Cap and Better Cap, yeah.
Better Cap, yeah.
Yeah.
Poning. This is older. Let me see.
Better Cap came out a few years ago, right? And that was way easier to use.
I think it's like way powerful. I feel
at
like
the time it was slow. At the time it first came out.
I first learned about it when it had the capability to do SSL stripping, so you could do like man in the middle attacks if you're on the same network with somebody. But now, like, my understanding anyway is that those are not practical anymore because the browsers are so much smarter about like, no, I'm making an HTTPS connection to everything, and nobody's going to break that apart.
Yeah.
But then, just like as a side effect of that, at some point, someone was like, "Oh, what do you use for your wireless assessments?" I use BetterCap. So not to be a shameless self promotion, but I think if you want to play with it, I found it's very powerful, but I don't feel like the user interface is like super newbie intuitive. So in this episode 522, I know at the bottom here's like my whole cheat sheet. I'm like getting it going, enumerating wireless networks, attacking them. But then at the very bottom, of course, I'll probably be wrong after all this build up. I thought I talked about how to get like you can get those handshake captures. Oh, here it is. This is it. So BetterCap will help you capture the pre-shared key, like raw data. And then it's this here is what like converts or it pulls out the data that Hashcat can crack by running this HCX. And this guy, I think, let me just search real quick. He might come along with Hashcat. Okay, nope. Looks like that might be a separate download. This looks familiar, this address. But let me actually try that really quick. Let me see if I can do split screen and still make it some. Okay, so I'm gonna try. Where was it again? Oh, here. Okay, so do I have HCXP cap ng tool? I do. Cap ng tool. And this is kind of weird, right? You do attack O. So I guess you could do this in any order, but I'm specifying. Yeah, I'm specifying what I want the output to be, and then I'm telling it what file to actually process. So I'm just for my own sanity's sake, I'm going to call this output.hc22. And the file I actually want processed is that guy. I think what this tool is doing is looking at this capture that we downloaded, ripping out just the crackable bit that we care about, and saving it to a file called this.
So now, is that only compatible with Hashcat? Because I know through your lab we used John the Ripper, which wasn't the greatest, but
yeah. And I've since like now in the newer lab, I've got Hashcat working. So that's what I use. I mean, for all the pen test stuff. So good question. I don't know if you could throw this right into John.
Just one of those things. If you're desperate and you're like, gosh, Hashcat for whatever reason, it was, like we did in the lab, it wasn't working very well, so we went to John the Ripper.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me see here. So I think what did it say? Kind of looked error-y here, but okay, disassociation frames. I don't know honestly what all this means. Well, let me see. Did my file get created? HTTP. Okay. Well, it seems to be there. Let's just do and the timing is going to work out perfect because we're probably going to be it for time today. But let's it goes fast, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, actually, let me look at my own notes. Okay, so we run it with Hashcat. We put it in mode 22000. So that's we've talked about that, right? The mode is you set it to 1000, or you set it to the appropriate mode for whatever hash type that you're cracking. So like M1000.
I was gonna say real quick, can you go show the documentation on that and where you got it? Because I know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to find sometimes.
Yep.
Because this matters.
This is good. Yeah. No, I appreciate you asking. This is where I'm getting that list. So you set the mode depending on what type of hash you have. So this 22000 is that actually, wait, is that what it is? 22 actually it doesn't look like that. Oh wait, one of three. Wait, it is there? Okay. So that is this one, a WPA Badoobly Doo. And really I know that in this case because I read through the Better Cap documentation is really how I know that. There will be certain times maybe you get a hash during a pen test and you don't know what it is. There is right in whoops, is that where I want to be? There we go. I think it's hash ID. Is that what it is?
Wow. It just tells you?
Where, yeah, you can, oh yeah, I think you can go like hash ID. Oh, actually output, wait, I don't know if it takes in a file, but like you could paste, some hash you got and, oh, whoops, sorry, not hash cat, hash ID. No, not that. Stop. Hash ID. I'm going to make something up. It's probably not going to know what that is. Yeah. Unknown hash. But if you, feed it one, it can, I've had some success when I find just weird hashes. It'll say like, oh, this is probably a, whatever, a Telegram desktop, mode, whatever. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So let's see, where's my show notes there? There we go. I guess let's give this a rip and maybe that'll have to be where we conclude for the day. Let's see here. So we're going to do hash cat 2000 and then
while you're doing that, Joe Bark just said hash dash identifier.
Oh,
that's another tool, I guess.
Oh, John, thank you. I don't know. Let me just see. I get tangented so easy, but is that?
That's good.
I wonder if that's a identifier. Oh, okay.
Nice, John.
Oh, appreciate that. So just for the fun of it, right? Let me see if it can successfully. Let's feed it a. Find is just a. I just want to take their NTLM hash example. Let's run this thing through a little test. See what it can come up with. Okay, here's an NTLM hash. Let's see. It's like a game show. Let's see if it can successfully identify this hash. Let's see hash identifier. What must you say for yourself? Does that mean? Oh, possible hashes. Okay.
Oh, possible.
Thinks it's MD5 or cached credentials. Okay. Least possible hashes.
Okay.
All right. That's cool. It didn't seem to, let's see. Did it even mention NTLM? Oh, least possible. I don't know if this order is sorted, but I mean, it's close.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of variables. I mean, I don't think you can go just based, purely on length or anything else. So it's probably just doing its best, right? To guess. But thank you, John. That's awesome. Okay, well, let's get this going, and then we can just kind of let this cook and holler at. Whoops, sorry. Okay, we'll do hash cat mode and we're calling this was output, and this is Eric's. I'll just run it. I'll just go the whole. I'll put it through the whole rock view. And my recollection is this type of hash doesn't crack very fast or not very efficiently. So if I look at S for status, it's not going to tell me yet. From doing some wireless assessments, I don't know the smart people math stuff, Paul, but I do know the jobs are. If I were to take an NTLM hash and run it through RockU, probably be done in like a minute or less. This is probably going to be like, I would guess, an hour or so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But this is the kind of thing where more and more, I talked about this on last week's podcast, but
Yeah.
I use this vast.ai to rent GPU horsepower by the hour. So should this have been a real world engagement, I'd probably come over here and be like, all right, let me rent some beast with 14, GPUs and let's throw that at it with Hashcat. I'm just curious. It seems like I know it's not me, but it seems like since I've started talking about it, the higher GPU instances are available.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I swear, before I told it, not that it's me, right? But I swear, before I told people about it, there'd be several 16 card instances available, and now there's not. But crank it down to like 11. Oh, okay. So here's what the highest you can get right now. Hey, $7.07 an hour. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think that's a good place to break. Oh, 6 hours, dude.
Oh gosh.
So if you're open to it, Paul, I think a few weeks down the road, we'll let's come back.
Try that out.
Fourth time's the charm with Billy, but
yeah,
I don't think we're gonna own it today.
Sounds good.
Anything you want to plug or talk about before we break?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm good for now.
All right.
Oh, how about your labs?
My what?
Your labs, your pen test labs, the classes that you give, because those are good.
Shameless promotion. Let's do it.
Yes.
So the last, so we do a 3-day half days course where we pen test Active Directory and local privilege escalate and relay hashes and enumerate AD and
I did go through this class, well, as you know, but I'm just telling everybody else.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And it was great. And then one of the ones that I liked is the living off the land, because that was really great. Because everybody, you're used to Windows all day long. You're used to Windows, but then as you start to go through it, when you're looking for specific things, then that's when you really start to try, expanding the trees or doing different searches and looking different places. So that was really good too.
Yeah. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. I think, what I think is also hindering us, I believe when I got this VM reset, it's just got 4 gigs of memory. So it's right now I got it doing all its horsepower is working on that crack. But go to 7minutesec.com/training. And we've got one more class this year. It's second week or so of November. And then we'll offer some more next year. But yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like totally janked up, the formatting and everything. This box is like completely pegged.
Wow.
You can see how slow the mouse is. Mouse is. I can't even click stuff. So perfect time to wrap us up. But
all right.
But yeah, thanks a lot, Paul, and thanks everybody for joining. And John, thanks for the ideas. I love learning from other people.
Audience participation. Yeah, it's good.
Great. Yes. All right, everybody. Well, take care, and I'll send us out, and hopefully we'll see you again real soon.
Oh, perfect timing. My pizza's here, Brian.
Oh, is it? Oh, enjoy that, Paul.
Yeah. Thanks again. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you.
All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.
You've been watching or listening to 7-Minute Security, a weekly podcast focused on pen testing, blue teaming, and building a career in security. For more episodes like this, visit 7ms.us. And for information about our consulting services, visit 7minsec.com.